Hey, Scott from MyWienerYourMouth.com.
And Seth from Aristocob.com here.
And welcome to Mark Woodman's Breakfast Club. And yeah, if you haven't been there, we highly recommend you stop by that URL. Do it from your home computer.
You can't really spell it wrong. You know, I had one of my coworkers go there the other day, and he said, "This is the riskiest thing I've ever done on a work computer." I said, "Trust me, you'll be okay."
Well, and you know, we also had somebody question our purity.
Sure.
As a result of that, and
there are lots of reasons why it should be questioned, but that is probably one of the low on the list.
Probably so.
Yeah.
So we've talked about where that came from, and we will link to it down below. That we've discussed that and where it came from. Trust me, it's completely innocent, and the destination is completely innocent.
It's actually, even though you may not know it, one of your favorite places on the internet.
That's true.
I visit it.
If it's
often.
not,
at least
it should be and should be favorite.
I visit it at least once a week.
That's true.
Anyway, not every day.
We understand that hearing that can be awkward for some, especially in mixed company. It's just meant in fun, and it's meant to be taken literally based on the original story. So go check that out, please. But welcome back. You were on the road.
Yeah, I just got back from a trip to Oklahoma City.
First time ever?
First time ever, yeah. Was a fun trip. It was shortish, longish. You know, when traveling a distance like that, you end up with at least half a day, if not a full day of travel, tail-ending, bookending the trip. And so, you know, I was gone for, I guess, a full 5 days.
Now, before you go into all the detail, I need to be smoking something.
Yeah.
And I'm holding off because you have a something for me.
So I do. So
get that going.
We're going to be smoking today Esoterica Dorchester from this jar, and I'll explain how I acquired it as I
I've never
talk more. You're going to love it because it is full of perique. Having smoked it though recently, I can say it is not as it smells. Not quite as it smells. So I think you'll actually be all right.
And just so that we can get plenty of comments, I'm going to smoke this in a naked nose warmer. You know, the official pipe of Mark Woodman's Breakfast Club Tobacco Advent.
When are those?
Guaranteed Christmas delivery 2018.
Gosh. We apologize for those of you who have graciously donated tobacco to Tobacco Advent who have not received the ornaments this year. Between moving, time just has gotten away from us, and so hopefully those will be getting to you soon. Certainly in time to put them onto your Christmas tree because they are ornaments and nothing else.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be allowed to be free. Thank you, FDA.
Correct.
Because they're tobacco products. I overpacked that. Gosh, that's rare.
Don't do that.
I tell you that it just doesn't happen very often. But
somebody asked on a recent video too, commented what my, what do you call that? Trademark, I think.
Yeah.
Trademark pipe is, and if you've watched long enough, you'll probably know that I don't really have one. I just hop around to whatever is empty. There are, as you can imagine, pipes laying all around where we film, and so I grab whatever's looking good that day. Although I do have a Rusticob that you
do like that one.
Do tend towards. It's green, got a kind of a, I don't know, barnyard feel to it. I do like that, and that is what's underneath that. Is that a Country Gentleman?
I think that was a Country Gentleman.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, a standard size is nice. We do smoke a lot of the nose warmers, especially around Tobacco Advent when there's a lot of kind of rapid switching out of tobacco. But I find for most of our videos, this size is pretty good and solid.
A rapid switching out of tobacco is pretty much what we do when we do get together to film. This video is going live on a day I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
For example.
I do prefer the bent. Is it bent?
It's bent, yeah.
Versus straight, usually.
And I used to and have now gravitated towards straight. No idea why. But, so we'll record several videos today because we can. And so, you know, we'll start smoking this tobacco, and we'll be talking here for probably 20 minutes or so. And then depending upon what we're doing staging in between, I might continue to smoke this. So I try to gauge how much I'm going to be packing based on what it is we think we're going to talk about in each video. There are those occasions where you'll see us and we'll say, hey, we're continuing to smoke because it's something that has really tickled our fancy.
So, yeah, I just returned from this trip. As I was leaving town, I was at the airport. I went ahead and posted a video that some of you may have seen, or I tried to post a video. I tried to go live from the airport and let everybody know, anyone in the Oklahoma City area, hey, I'm coming into town. I'll have a little bit of time on this trip, which is unusual. Usually my time is pretty full, fully compacted, and this I had 2 evenings available. I said, if you're free, let me know. That video didn't take, and so apparently it looked like I was trying to do a live chat or something all day. So I did another video later that evening, posted it, and had one of our viewers, Shaun, replied and said, hey, yeah, I am in the area and I'm a member at a cigar shop, and would love to meet up if you've got availability this week.
What do you mean by a member at the cigar shop?
I mean,
do they have a lounge and
lockers
sometimes?
So it's got lockers. It's got a lounge. He pays a monthly membership fee, and for that gets a locker and gets discount on goods there. And I asked, what draws him to that. He said he just likes supporting the local brick and mortar. And so it was really neat. I was able to actually grab a couple of people from the trade show I was going to and pull them along with me. And so there were 4 of us total. Went to the 2nd Street Cigar, company in Oklahoma City. It's actually, I think, Edmond. It's north of the city a little bit.
Did you get to the memorial? Did you get past it?
I didn't really
I'm talking about the memorial to the federal building, bombing Timothy McVeigh's work.
No, I didn't have daytime freedom, really, and so I wasn't able to get over there during open hours. But they, so we went and met. Really great guy, great opportunity to meet and talk about some stuff, get some feedback on, what does he like about the channel? Why do you watch?
We wonder about all you guys. We really do.
It's right. He's somebody who is a cigar smoker, more recently into pipes, and has a really great kind of philosophy of he's a much better and deeper understanding of some of the mechanics and some of the science of smoking, of what's happening with the tobacco, and had better understanding of some of the brands than I do. We've talked many times before. We're hobbyists by and large with a lot of this stuff. Yeah. If you're looking for expert opinions, they're out there. And so he actually had this Esoterica. And so I smoked a bowl of this while he smoked some of the Fruit Loop tobacco that I had. He didn't really care for it because he's not an aromatic smoker, but he was generous and kind enough to accept a swap, to offer a swap out for his as much.
He'll regift it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the beauty of those meetups, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get opportunities to share, and some of the meetups that we've been to, there are pipe shows, there are meetups, and there are some combined. Thank you, John, for reminding me. Some that happen to morph into the two. We go to pipe shows for the meetups.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you'll have somebody that'll have a jar or a tin. They'll lay it out on the table and say, "Help yourself, guys. Wasn't my deal," or "I really love this and I have extra," and that's really cool. It's when you see something sitting on a table open, it is customary to help yourself, but at the same time, it's also
share
customary
and share alike.
to share. Don't just be a taker. and you try to find out. So who brought this, and get the story, and give your feedback.
Yeah, there's we've found generally that the pipe community at large is just very generous of their knowledge and wisdom to new smokers, to
Ignorance, right? We're willing to share.
Yeah.
Hey, we're trying something new, right?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things Shaun and I talked about was packing a pipe, and I talked
Which side
about
of the match the light?
Well, I mentioned because I think I'm sure I asked the question about, so how do you pack your pipe? You have a way, you have a method. As I was kind of laughing at myself, because I don't really have a method. I just kind of shove it all in there and just push. And so he had a take on the the Frank method. He prefers the Frank method, but we agreed it's all just getting the stuff in the pipe and lighting it. Talked about my insecurities when I first started about new lighting. He had a really interesting, and I guess because
does he have a channel?
I don't know. We didn't talk about it. Should have. I apologize.
Shaun, leave us a comment below. I'm Shaun. I have a channel.
Yeah.
We'll
sorry. But what's really cool is his position at his company is similar to mine, and that's very rare because it actually means something similar in his company as it does in ours. Normally, when you talk about my position is business development, and normally that's just a fancy way of saying sales. That's not what I do. What I do is more akin to marketing or relationship building. I told somebody recently that that marketing is trying to catch fish with a net. They're net fishing, and that what I'm doing is pole fishing, right? So building single relationships that hopefully will scale out into deeper relationships. And so it was interesting to talk about that as well. As a cigar smoker, he had an interesting take on this. I'd never heard this before. He mentioned, because there were some other people there smoking cigars, maybe not wanting to smoke an aromatic tobacco. Because it could be offensive.
Ruin their experience.
It could be offensive. I said, what? Because oftentimes we talk about it the opposite way, that if you are around non-smokers, aromatics are usually the more pleasant versus an English, but in a mix of cigar smoke, it stands out as really, really sweet. It's something I had not given much thought to.
That's true. Although it's also an interesting phenomenon that has been uncovered, that people who are cigar smokers, primarily cigar smokers, when they begin smoking pipes, often prefer aromatics because they're so vastly different than a cigar.
Because if you're smoking something that tastes like a cigar but takes more work,
why am I smoking?
Why not smoke a cigar?
Yeah,
I get that.
But no, I absolutely agree with that. The other bit of etiquette, we've talked about this before, is if you go into one of those places, you buy something. You buy, and especially the something that they're noted for. So if it's a cigar shop, even if I hope to eventually break out a pipe, I first buy a cigar. I smoke the cigar, and then I'll have a conversation with the folks at the owners, managers, whomever, about how they feel about me smoking my pipe.
Yeah.
And usually I'll have that conversation before I even go. I'll call some places if we're going to kind of meet up.
Yeah.
There's a place in Torrance, California that we know each other now, and they know that by the end of the evening I'll be smoking my pipe, and that's okay. Yeah. But I'm also careful in that environment where I smoke.
Yeah.
So I pick a spot over by a window that's usually open and not offend anybody. It's interesting.
Yeah, I knew that we were potentially going to be under a time crunch because I had a couple of people who, two of the three people I brought with me don't smoke. One of them doesn't smoke at all. One is a cigarette smoker, but wasn't interested in smoking pipes or cigars. The other is barely a cigar smoker, but he ended up grabbing a cigar at the owner's recommendation. And so knowing the situation, they had a really nice branded lighter, torch lighter, that I went ahead and grabbed.
As in you purchased? Or
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, no, I just snatched it up. No, purchased it. Of course, I didn't bring it with me, but the lighter is one that I've not seen before. It's round, and I'll bring it some other week. But the owner said he started selling them when he had his for about 40 years and it hasn't broken. And so he said, yeah, I realized I needed to go ahead and sell this. It's metallic. It's got, you know how you can adjust the flame normally, but you have to get a screwdriver to do that?
Yeah.
This has a pop-out handle that you can twist. And then it's got, like I said, it's round, so it's got 3 flames and a pop top, and then you light it. It's nice.
Do you light it like a Bic, or does it have a little thumb wheel that you spin
sideways?
sideways?
You pull it. You pull straight down. It's not a Bic.
I'm curious, and because we're here recording several weeks worth, there'll be a few weeks before we get to see this.
Sorry.
Post it on Instagram.
Sorry.
Nothing else.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Try to do that.
He doesn't do much on Instagram, but Seth Markwood at Seth Markwood on Instagram. Let's make a point of posting that picture.
So one of the things that I would like for us to try that came out of this visit is Shaun said that when he buys tobacco, he always takes it and transitions it into a jar, because it's bound to be more airtight than the tin is, and you never know if you're getting a pack or whatever. Because I had mentioned, this kind of came up because I mentioned, I don't know, my tobacco, I usually just leave it in my suitcase, and so it will dry out between trips. Before I went to the cigar place, I made sure to dampen a Kleenex and put it in there. And so the top layer actually had become a little bit too moist, but I mixed it up and it was actually pretty good. And so he said that what he does is when he gets a new tin, he puts it in a jar, and then he adds this little pack to it. I said, what is that? So I bought a couple. They're called Boveda. And you can get them in different humidity percentages, and they build themselves as two-way humidity control. Now I asked the shop owner what is it. He said it's just propylene glycol. But it looks like it might be, from the way it was described, it sounds like it might be a little bit more advanced than that. Because what it supposedly does is, if you have something, especially an aromatic tobacco, if you take one of these and throw it in the tin or throw it in a jar with it, it'll take the excess moisture out of that, but then it holds that excess moisture and then puts it out as the tobacco starts to dry out. And so
does it reach an equilibrium with the moisture that's in the tobacco? Is that
that's
the
way it was positioned to me, yeah.
So you don't open this. You put
Correct.
this in. It's a permeable package.
Correct. It says, do not cut or tear this packet open. And if you feel it, it feels like there's some kind of, it feels like it could be propylene glycol, but it's not crystalline. It's kind of wet in there. Maybe we should cut one of them open. We should get some more. They were the shop was selling them for $1 a piece. They had really large ones for humidors, and you can get them at different humidity levels.
And I don't usually do anything to add humidity to my pipe tobacco because I prefer my tobacco a little bit dry. But it certainly does dry out, and I've had bad experiences with cigar humidifiers with my pipe tobacco. It'll introduce mold because it's just too moist. But the fact that you can get that in different humidity level, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so I would like to I think we should do some sort of figure out a way to test this. Get a gas station tobacco that we know is just going to be terrible, and just throw one of these, just super heavily cased. Throw one of these in and try it a week later and see what it does.
I wish I had that earlier this week.
Sorry.
For next week's tobacco that we'll talk about here in a bit.
Sorry,
next week.
If it works, and like I said, Shaun was swearing by it, and the cigar shop had a ton of these in different humidity levels, so it looks like they're using them for humidors as well. Then it could be a great solution. I don't know if you've heard of this. If you have, leave us a comment.
I've seen the brand before. It's Xikar.
Yeah, but it's made by Boveda for Xikar. Xikar.com. Xikar. Apparently, you can get them online if your local shop doesn't have them.
Does Amazon have them?
I don't know. I haven't checked. I grabbed a few, and
if you got a local tobacconist, support them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll see if we can find a place to link to.
Yeah, like I said, for $1 a piece to be able to take, especially something that, like for me, I will absolutely be throwing one into it. If it works, we'll absolutely be throwing one into a tin because I'm constantly, every single trade show, if I want to smoke my pipe, I'm having to rehydrate it a little bit because it's been in my luggage. I just don't take it out. I'm lazy.
Interesting.
The other thing that I wanted to mention about this trip, and I'll include just a short video I took while there. Clyde, the owner of the store, is a licensed certified tobacconist through a program.
Oh, was it Tobacconist University or something like that? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So,
if you're not familiar with that website, I probably said it wrong. We'll link to it. Their curriculum is free. So if you're not planning on studying and being tested, you can still use their curriculum and go and learn stuff. And there's stuff mostly about cigars, but it's about tobacco. And that information transfers obviously over to pipe smoking as well.
Yeah, if I'm
but
remembering,
there's lots of levels of the certification that they offer, right?
Well, I don't know. He only talked about 2.
Well, they have like a concierge level. If you're going to be working with people in the walk-in humidor making recommendations for cigars, it's helpful that you've got that level of knowledge. And there's I forget what you would call us, the consumer level channel of study, but you can pay them $75, whatever the number is, and get that certificate.
Yeah, I think he said to become a tobacconist through them, the curriculum was like $1,000 to test. And then there's like a $75 book that is the core curriculum. And I got to tell you, if you are in the Oklahoma City area, you cannot go wrong going to that shop because he knows his stuff. It was great watching him talk with my my recent friend, who was with me looking for a cigar, because he can tell you about the types of tobacco used and how it's going to affect the smoke and how it's going to affect the draw. And part of their course of study, they study cigars primarily, I think, but pipes, also hookahs, anything that a tobacconist or shop owner might need to know. But even more, what I found even more fascinating is he is currently undergoing the course of study for their master tobacconist level. And there are, he said, only 14 master tobacconists worldwide certified. And for that training, he's going to have to go to, I think, the Dominican Republic to actually plant, harvest, roll, do the whole process of aging leaves and everything for making cigars. And then he's going to have to visit a pipe carver and carve a pipe.
Have to or get to?
Well, that's exactly what I said. I actually said that while there.
That sounds
so
great.
That sounds awesome. And so, he's someone who's wanting to know more and more. So in the video you'll see, I'll go ahead and throw it in here.
That was great. I sure hope you put it in there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that he was talking about is wanting to start a podcast. He's going to cover several different topics: point in history, a cigar, a whiskey, or some sort of drink that pairs with that, and kind of talk in detail about that. He's a guy who clearly has a romantic view of high class, especially the past, and so I think that is absolutely going to suit him. But I also was encouraging him and said, "Man, you're doing something. You are embarking on a journey that few people are. What a great opportunity to share that journey with the YouTube pipe community." And so, he was having thought about making a YouTube channel, and I encouraged him, if you do it, it would be really, really cool, really neat to document the journey of becoming a master tobacconist.
Yes, that would. That'd be great.
Yeah, and so I know this video will probably make its way back to him. If that's something you'd be interested in watching, if that's the sort of content that would be interesting to the community, I think so. Leave a comment down below, just of encouragement, telling him that that's something that you would watch.
And he wouldn't have to share their content, right? But to share, what he's learning, what he's experiencing, and
to take a video while you're planting tobacco and rolling it, and
heck yeah. That'd be cool. Do that. What do you think of this tobacco? Did you smoke this while you were there? You did smoke it.
This was the tobacco I smoked. I like it. I don't think that the Perique comes through as...
It's not crazy.
It doesn't come through as heavy as it smells. It has a very, very plum smell to it.
The room note? Or in the jar?
No, in the jar. In the jar. In the jar, it smells pretty heavy. I didn't think it comes through as strong as it smells like it might. I like it as an English.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an English fan. It's all right.
Mm.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's wrap this up, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing that, Shaun. Thanks for sharing your tobacco with us. I don't know if you meant it for us, but thank you. We really appreciate that. And there you go. You have your charge for the day. Leave us a comment down below whether you think we should encourage that channel.
Yeah,
which would be great. So
absolutely.
Please leave a comment about that. And I guess we'll see you next week.
See you guys.